This week's episode is supersized and special with not just one, but three great guests. Each of these gym owners uses my content marketing service, PrimeFit Content, and they each do something special with it, putting their own unique spin on their websites, social media posts, and email newsletters. I've been impressed with lots of my PrimeFit Content subscribers because they all run successful businesses and are smart about their content and communications. I chose these three because recently they've all posted material that made me go, First up is Micah Morgan, Tampa, Florida, who's had a gym, Fitness, for several years and recently expanded with Temple Terrace Fitness, focused on folks over 50. Micah loves taking photos of his members in the gym and in community spaces, and I love the way he interacts with them and is very determined to keep his focus on them where it belongs. I'll put Micah's contact info in the show notes, same with the other two guests, whom I'll introduce briefly after we hear from Micah.
So I do a lot of community events. I just had one a couple of weeks ago at the Lightfoot Recreation Center, and we had about 20, 21, 50 plus members come in, and they enjoyed the boot camp. They were flipping tires, they were doing battle ropes, they were doing kettlebell squats, and they were like, we never do this.
Yeah.
Like they participate in a lot of silver sneakers classes, which are great, and they're very active. I like the term active aging. I got that from you. They're a very active aging community. So they're in there at least 3 times a week, doing like Pilates and some of the silver sneakers classes, but they've never touched the kettlebell. They've never done any kind of strength training that involves bars or dumbbells, only bands. So
Okay.
yeah, it was a great change of pace, and they reacted very positively and very encouraged to do more. So I showed them that they can do more, and I think that opened up a new sense of motivation for them. So a lot of them came to Temple Terrace Training, and I offered a free week of personal training. So a lot of them took that offer,
Okay, that's great. That's kind of what I wanted to talk to you today about is, you and I have been working together for a little while, like a few weeks, couple months. And in that short time, I've been really impressed with how you spotlight your members. You take a lot of photos and a lot of videos of your folks, and you use them really well. And I've liked that since I've known you. But then a week or two ago, you posted one of a woman who was, I don't know if she was at this rec center or at a senior center, sounded a little like she was at church because she was preaching about you and how wonderful you are as her trainer. And she was telling these other peers of hers that they need to take care of themselves and exercise and to come see you, that kind of thing. And she was incredibly persuasive. Tell me about that, Micah. Why and how are you so active with your content and your photos and videos?
Yeah, I mean, it started when Instagram first came about. Like, I think that was back in 2009, 2010. I'm a firm believer in spotlighting, people that are doing amazing things, and giving them recognition. So, in my phone, I have more pictures of people I trained than my family. It's like I could date back to like when they were younger and until today, because I train people for a long periods of time. So I make sure that I take pictures, I share them on Facebook and Instagram, I tag them. It's good for brand awareness. It's good to give people recognition because everybody loves, to be applauded. It's also great, to see people that kind of look like you and kind of in your same, fit your same shoes, to see them actually doing exercise, right? So it kind of encourages, people that are intimidated and thinking that they can't do these things, and you see their friends doing it, and it's like, oh, wow. And then the positive reinforcement with their testimonies and smiling and high-fiving, like all of that like breaks that barrier. So it's great for marketing, but it's also I think it's more for just motivation for my members. And we use a lot of these pictures and videos to show them a month after the progression. So you can see their transformation. You can see some of the body fat coming off. Their face looks smaller. They're standing up more straight. You see definition. So I kind of use them for progress pictures and progress video as well.
You do all of this on your phone. You don't bring in an expensive professional camera crew to do this.
I do most of it on my phone. These things shoot pretty high def. But I do sometimes bring professionals. We do professional photo shoots. So one year we had a calendar shoot, right? And every month I had a member take a picture. It was like a professional fitness shoot, and they had their own motivational word and a little description about what that word meant to them. So they were in the page of this calendar that we professionally printed out and gave to them. So I do little things like that. I do hire professionals to do photo shoots so they can keep it and to show them like, look, you are the star. You are doing something great. You're looking great and you're feeling great. So documenting that on a photo and a video it's just a great thing for them to keep forever.
Yeah. What kind of response do you get from people, the ones you put in the photos and the videos, but then also people in the community or people who come in to join the gym? Do they talk about these kinds of things at all?
Yeah, a lot of my marketing efforts are off of these photos and these videos because people come in and they say, "Hey, I saw my friend Sally working out at the gym and she was flipping a tire and I asked her about it at work and she's told me, you're located here, so I just showed up because I want to flip a tire like my friend. If she can do it, I can do it too." So, I mean, it definitely spreads throughout locally around my area, which basically what I want to do.
How do you get people to participate in this? Or do people ever say, "Oh, I can't do that. My hair looks bad," or "I don't like to talk on camera," or "Don't take my picture"? I mean, are people always just really happy to do it?
Some people kind of push me away like, oh, there goes Micah with that camera again. And, I ask, but deep down, and we all like some sort of attention. And I always say, look, you're doing something it's not always about you. It's about other people that are watching you. You might motivate somebody today and change their lives just by me showcasing you on a video or taking a picture. So it's true, but I let them know, like, look, if you don't want to be, you might have a bad hair day to day, and I get it. And I'm not going to take a picture of you. So I'm not going to do it without, the okay. But
Sure.
most times they like it because that's part of the experience at Fitness and Temple Terrace Training is, look, we're going to show the work that we're doing. We're going to show that we're having a good time, and your friends and family are going to see what you're doing.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. And then how do you measure success about this kind of thing generally? And then maybe also in particular, like, do you look at number of likes? Do you talk to people who come in and say, were you moved by our content? Or do you just put it out there and not worry about its success?
I don't really worry about the success too much, but I can tell you that me doing this content for so many years, because I don't have a big marketing budget, I'm doing better, but I don't run Facebook ads or anything like that. I think the organic stuff really touches people's hearts. And, I try to focus on just like the emotion of my pictures and my videos more than just like somebody doing a deadlift. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think that really brings people in a marketing sense because they do see me all over Temple Terrace, Tampa, doing content, recording my videos, recording my boot camps. And a lot of the word of mouth spreads just through social media.
Mhm.
So I think I would say about 50% comes from videos and pictures that not just me posting it, but the people that are in these videos, they share it, right? Because they're proud. They're proud. So yeah, it helps word of mouth. And then, Google Google helps a lot as well. So a lot of people come in through Google, and I make sure I update my Google account all the time with pictures and videos as well. So
Yeah. And I like how you use, when I give you something for the newsletter, you sometimes will swap out the photo that I gave you with a photo of your people, which is
yes,
so smart.
yes,
Because you do want to reflect. You mentioned people want to see people who look like themselves. And sometimes the photos that I have to use are extremely posed and studio shots of models. I'd
hmm
rather have real people in them. And
hmm
you've got all these great photos of real people.
yeah. It's kind of overwhelming. I have so much, like thousands, so I have to put that into a folder and really give that to you. But I love the content that you do supply me with, because a lot of these articles, it fits someone that I trained.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, man, I remember this woman I trained back in 2013 that ran this marathon, and she was 60 years old. Like, I could find these things and put it, because I've been doing this for a while now. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
just great content, and we have real life people that have done these things and accomplished these tasks.
Any tips for gym owners out there who want to do more of what you're talking about? Like just real practical things, like any kind of settings to use on your phone, or any kind of questions to assure people they look fine, or how to store them on your computer, anything at all.
Yeah, I would say don't double guess yourself. Ask before you do take pictures. Do it consistently, do it daily. One picture can create one new client. And, don't think that it's not touching anybody emotionally, because sometimes you giving people shout outs, especially on social media, might turn their day around, and they feel like they have accomplished something. And I would say it only takes 5 seconds to shoot a picture, and all you need is 15 seconds of video of someone just smiling and saying they're enjoying themselves. I wouldn't do too much of the sexy workout content. I would do more of the emotions over movement type of content. So people having fun, people in your demographic that you're trying to attract, make sure you focus on them.
Right.
But yeah, do it once a day. It's not that hard. And
No, it's
post
not.
and just post it. Yeah.
Yep.
Don't hold it in your phone. Don't second guess yourself. You know?
I find a lot of people will only put out photos that are perfect. And by perfect, I mean the lighting has to be just right and everyone has to be smiling and looking right at the camera. And then if they're not perfect, they won't post them. And it's like, no, that's the beauty of the digital age, man, is we can take so many photos that they don't have to be perfect. No one's even expecting them to be perfect, right?
Yeah, and the algorithms change all the time. I recorded a 15-second video of members entering my gym and leaving my gym. And I didn't talk or nothing. People were smiling coming out of the gym. People were coming inside the gym. That did 20,000 views. And I just posted it. And I just said, another day at the gym or something. And you just never know. So just
Yeah.
consistency, just keep posting content, because you never know what hits.
Thanks, Micah. Next is Jake Trione of Fitness Gym in Houston, who also opened his second location not too long ago. Known Jake for a while now, and just last year, after a hurricane caused a lot of devastation in his community, I saw him at a conference in LA, and we spoke about how he and his business had reached out to those who were suffering, even opening up his gyms to people who had no power or water. Jake's a big believer in supporting the community, and his big heart will be apparent from this conversation as it is in his business communications.
For us at Tri Fitness, the biggest thing that we're trying to do is make sure that every single place we go, that we're not just a gym, we're not just a place to come in and get healthy, but we're also outwardly trying to promote wellness and connectivity and love and support and growth and a safe space and all of those things that we actually really believe in and what we've created, but outside of the gym as well. And so the biggest deal for us is to make sure that we're choosing a charity or choosing an organization or things like that on a consistent basis to provide support for. And then our clients, we send out cards to every time a client ends up with an injury or they have a family death or something happens. We make it a point to go out of our way. And there's an actual process that I think they're called send out cards. I can't remember the exact brand, but for a business owner, it's a great deal because you just put in the little message, it'll automatically send it to them. But it's a way for you to show that you truly do care about your clients. And I was doing it all by hand when we started in the garage in 2017, 2018. I mean, I was writing out, I literally right around me right now, I have little cards that say, the world needs more of you, or, keep shining, or stay bright, or whatever that is. And I would go and just by hand write them all out. But I met a lady one day, I think it was at a BNI, and she was selling this. And I was like, well, let me find out more. So like I said, it's called send out cards, I think, but that's a good way to also give back to your clients and make it easy to engage with them.
After a hurricane, I remember you did a lot of work there, and I know you all have a lot of hurricanes, but I believe you were letting people come in and use the facilities because a lot of people were without power, without water. So that's pretty extraordinary to open your business to people in need.
Yeah, I think, the gym came out of a need in general. I needed a space to where I could go and feel comfortable and to grow and to learn and not feel too pressured. And that's how I felt in most gyms. And I have PTSD from the military, and I'd go into a typical gym and unfortunately, a lot of times it's already intense. Everybody's trying to compete, and they may just be competing with themselves, but I feel that energy at a very high level with hypersensitivity. So in a typical environment, I wasn't comfortable. So whenever we see things like whether it's a major freeze or a hurricane or something like that, even during COVID, we literally gave out our equipment. We didn't make anybody pay. We made them sign a piece of paper. They could take it home, come and get it and use it. When we were shut down. So no matter what it is that's going on in someone's life, we try to make sure that we provide whatever we can.
Yeah. You also do a lot of videos and photos of your community and of your members. Why do you do that? What's the motivation? I think it's great. Obviously, it's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you. But tell the folks why you go that, make that extra effort to put the spotlight on your people.
That's really what it's all about for us. Our community is what we're dedicated to, and without them, we wouldn't exist. If our community isn't supporting us, we can't have a business. I mean, whether you're for-profit or a nonprofit, your community has to come through the door and provide that actual support and perceive that value of what you're offering. So I think it's very important to highlight their milestones as well. So when they're putting through, today we took a picture for a lady who's been with us for right around 6 years, 975 workouts.
Hey.
That is amazing. Those are the things that blow my mind. And at the same time, we took a photo for a young lady who has Asperger's. She has learning disabilities. She's been with us now for about, 4.5 months, and she took her 50th workout photo today. And we don't just take the photo and walk off. We say, hey, like, this was an amazing accomplishment for you to come through the door this many times and stay consistent. Thank you for giving us a chance. Thank you for giving yourself a chance and staying dedicated to a healthy and connected and loving life. And we're so much more than counting reps and sweating. That's really total opposite of what we approach. Our philosophy is caring, connecting, and coaching. And we spend a multitude of our time really caring and connecting rather than the coaching. And that's really, I think the biggest difference is we truly value not only the exercise part, the health part, the engagement part, but also creating a space where they feel respected and they feel elevated and they feel like they are being treated with that respect that they deserve.
And it's working. You just opened your second location, about a year ago, I think?
A year and 3 months now.
That's great. So the connection part is what I want to focus on. How do you see that? I see everything through the lens of communications and contact because that's what I do. But I'd like you to tell me how you see it, the photos and the videos and the community support. How do you use that? And I know it's not your motivation, but I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about it strategically either. How do you use all of that to make those connections and to, get the word out there about your gym?
Yeah, I think, for us, whenever our clients join in the initial, we make sure that they feel comfortable with that first off. I think that's a big deal for fitness professionals or gym owners, is if the individuals don't feel comfortable with sharing those photos, make sure you understand that. I wouldn't say just start throwing photos out there. I don't think that's a good approach, especially in the environment we're in. So just first off, be cautious. And I know that sounds dampering it a little bit, but make sure that the clients want to be photoed, make sure they're excited about it, and make sure that they are willing to let you put it on social media.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big point to hit real quick. But the main thing for that is to show them and show their families and show the people that they love that they're doing this, that they are a part of this, and that they're taking control of their own health. And for us, that just brings a lot more value to the community because they see, oh, Sally's going there. She's getting a lot out of it. She's been there 175 times and she's 85 years old.
Yeah.
I'm only 60. I can do that too. And if you're not empowering your clients, if you're not helping them to see those things that they can do to overcome all of the things that, aging, which I don't necessarily believe, really starts to make you limit your life, right? And we're trying to totally opposite that, right? We're trying to show people that are capable, that are able, that are consistent, that are dedicated. And so that just really cements it for not only our clients, but also for my coaches and for the rest of the community around me to be able to say, hey, this place is doing something a little bit different. There's a reason this person's been there 350 times. Maybe I need to go check it out, or maybe I should walk through that door.
What I've always liked about your approach is that you keep a spotlight on your members. And I talk to a lot of gym owners and trainers who want to talk about themselves all the time and take a lot of selfies and pose with their shirts off and all of these things about how great they are. And, I guess that has its place sometimes, maybe, I don't know. But I wish more of them would hear the kind of things that you're saying, which is the focus has to be on your customer, not on you, right?
Yeah. And I think, obviously, I made some of those mistakes in the beginning. I think that consistency matters. I've been doing this for now in the civilian world since 2011. So 14 years of mistakes, that's part of it. I'm not saying I was perfect every step of the way, but I think as I learned from you and I learned from, Dr. Dan, I learned from all of the other individuals out there more and more about how you've got to spotlight the client. And I think at first as a fitness professional, you feel a little bit nervous about that because you don't want to ask them, or you don't want to burden them, or you feel like maybe it's too much because they're already paying you. You don't also want them to market, but they're your best story. They truly are your work. This is what you've done with your hands. So show the effort that you've put through the door. Show the effort that you've put in to help them to come through the door and get results.
Yeah.
And I had a meeting today. Every Friday we do a coaches meeting and we review all of our clients and go over anything new or any hot topics. And today my thing was getting them to seek out more reviews. And the thing that I say is that, are you thinking every single day that you're changing lives? Do you believe that? Every single one of them raise their hands. And do you think that more people need their lives changed? They also raise their hands. And I said, so just ask your client if they have a moment to share the story that they've experienced. Don't ask them to elaborate beyond, or they have to give a certain type of review or anything else. Just have them share a little bit of the story that they've experienced with you inside your facility. And that's the bread and butter. That's where you're actually going to get that impact, because they're going to say something that you never could have ever conceived of because you're not in their shoes. Mm-hmm. You're not a 78-year-old woman who had a knee replacement and is 120 pounds overweight, but she's worked out 300 times in a year and a half and never thought she would. That's a big deal. And so I think I tell my coaches and the environment around me and everybody who's sharing stuff about our gym to just tell their personal story. And to realize that them sharing their story may change that life for somebody next to them who's sitting at home and maybe close to losing their independence, or maybe seeing themselves start to deteriorate. And they don't know where to go. And they're truly, as a gym focused on 50 plus, we are very unique. There are not that many people out there. We're getting bigger, thank God. There's more of us coming up, but being focused on functional movement patterns that keep people able to live independently and able to spend time with their loved ones and able to do the things that they need and want to do, that's a big need in our society. And so that story needs to be shared more, and we need to be allowing more people to be empowered and to feel strong and to feel capable and to be met where they're at. And I think that's a big downfall, is if you fail to ask for the share, or you fail to ask for the review, you're going to have a hard time growing your business. It's really not going to be good for you in the long run if somebody else isn't also sharing that story.
Yeah, very well said. I was sitting here listening to this and thinking of all the how all the things that you just said better than I have, but the points are the same, and that asking and listening and being respectful, it's all you got to do. It's very, very rare that someone says no if you do it.
Yeah, and don't take it personal. That's the other thing I would say. As a business owner, as a fitness professional, anybody in business, I think, it doesn't have to be a fitness professional. You take it personal, especially in the beginning when you don't make the sale or somebody doesn't show up for a consult. So you got to get over that. The quicker you can get over that, the further you're going to go. And just ask for support. Ask them to share their stories. Make it easy for them. That's one of the things we do at the gym. Everything about my business process has been, how can I make this easier? From the exercises, from the marketing, from franchising like we are now, everything is about ease. We have a 20,000 square foot gym next door to us. Literally, there's nobody in between us. And we're a 3,500 square foot gym, and we have a 20,000 square foot gym next to us. But if you walk into that gym and you say, I'm 65, I have diabetes, I just had my right knee replaced, I'm finishing physical therapy in 3 months, I'm looking for somebody to help me. And they're going to be like, oh, we got this one guy, Mike, he's real good. He's here on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 8. So maybe you could train with him. So then you're like, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I've already got yoga class, right?
Right.
So there's no access. There's no access to this individual that's looking for that need and that help. At our gym, you can come and go as you please. You can join any session anytime and get personal training. And that to me is the caring. I've literally made it to where it's truly accessible and truly adaptable to every single person. And our Tri-Fitness system teaches people how to care and how to keep the actual client engaged in a way to where then they are going to want to go and share that story. They're going to want to go and express those feelings, and they're going to tell their doctor, and they're going to tell their cousin, and they become raving fans. And it is because we make it easy to adapt. It's easy to show up. It's easy to do the exercises. We've tried to find the most manageable exercises possible for our clientele because we really train people who aren't fit familiar. 90% of our clients would not go work out anywhere else if it wasn't for having it to be an ease of access.
Yeah.
Very adaptable to them. But I think with marketing, it's got to be the same way. You've got to make it easy for them to share your story.
Well, you do, and that's why I called you. And I was going to ask you to give some tips, but you already have. You've given a ton of good tips for anybody out there listening who's a little shy about this or reticent for whatever reason. You've really addressed a lot of that. And I was a newspaper reporter for many years, so we learned very early as reporters to ask anyone anything, right? And there's a nuance to it, and there's a different approach to it. But it's very rare that people say, I don't want to talk to you. And now in this environment, you ask people to, hey, I'm talking to folks about their fitness journey. Would you mind if I asked you about yours? It's really rare that they're going to say no. Yeah, so good for you. That's really important.
Yeah. And just staying consistent with it too. I think that's the biggest thing is stay consistent, show up for them, show up for your following, show up for your Facebook, show up for your LinkedIn. Yeah. Whatever that is, you got to make that, and it may not be your best, but being consistent is better than waiting 2 weeks for your best.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, Jake, I want to thank you. I'm sorry about the snafu with the furniture, but I want to thank you for your time and your insight. And as always, your passion. It's really great to talk to you.
Same thing, Jay. I appreciate you. Appreciate everything you're doing for the industry. Continue to do that. This is such a big need. I mean, we truly are changing lives at Tri-Fitness, and I know every other gym out there is too. It's needed. It's big. So thanks for sharing it.
Thanks, Jake. Next is Lisa Grace Wright of Your Personal Best Training Studio in Corpus Christi, Texas. Lisa was one of my very first Prime Fit content subscribers. She's been with me from the start more than 5 years ago, and I love what she's doing with her studio and her content communications. She also uses a lot of photos and videos of her members in her content. And she has become something of a video master lately, which really caught my eye, probably because I've always been a little intimidated about doing video myself. I need to get over that. And with Lisa's help, I just might do it.
Because I want to see how much of our demographic is on Instagram. But from Instagram, we push it to Instagram stories, Facebook stories. We push it everywhere that we can possibly push it. And, but that's what those videos are. And I do all the video editing.
Hey,
I do all the video editing and I do it on Instagram. It can also be done on TikTok. I've heard the editor on TikTok is better. I do a little bit of editing on Canva. I do a little bit of editing on InShot, but mostly I've just become super familiar with Instagram.
okay.
And
Let me ask you about that. The reels. Some of the reels seem to be, and maybe I'm making this up. Part of it is like B-roll, and part of it is you. Is that correct?
sometimes, yep.
How do you do that? Where do you get the B-roll to splice it together, or do you get the real kind of setup for you, and then you just drop in your own stuff at certain spots?
No, I mean, all the only thing I have to begin with is scripts. So I have scripts for the month, and all of our content, I think very much like how you put content together, because I do read what you do. It's just that I'm already established in another situation. It's very similar though. There's like a theme for the month, and we typically cycle themes. So in other words, one month, the theme for the whole month is going to be heavy on functional fitness or mobility or SMR, self-myofascial release or whatever. So 4 times a year, each quarter, we cycle through 3 subjects. One is heavy towards exercise, core workouts, travel workouts. We have a theme. One of the months each quarter, we do the theme heavy on nutrition, crock pot recipes, or we did beat the bloat last month, how to get rid of gut bloat. And because I don't care what anybody says, nutrition is a huge part of it. It just is. Nobody wants it. They want to be just exercise without it, but that's not how it works.
Right.
It's not how it works. So I know in Mastermind, in the functional aging, they called me the fat loss queen because I wouldn't ever say no to working with nutrition. We now have a Precision Nutrition 1 coach and staff. And I just hung up with her before I hopped on with you. So she and I meet weekly, developing our programs and stuff. But anyway, so 1 month exercise, 1 month nutrition, and then the other month is mindset. Because if you don't have a good mindset, you cannot get anywhere with the exercise or the nutrition because you don't care or it's not important to you. So we come at mindset from many different directions. So then within the theme of that month, so Juan and I are partners. We run the business. I have 5 coaches who are all functional aging specialists besides Juan and I. And I have 2 administrative assistants. My 5 coaches. So here's how I look at it, guys, or whoever's watching this or listening to this, is they are what I have to sell. There's not a magic treadmill. It's not a magic pill. There's not a magic piece of equipment. Even the 4 walls, it's not magic. That's not where the magic lies. It lies in relationships. And so our coaches are our treasure chest. Mm-hmm. And so what I do with Reels is I have the scripts, I edit the scripts, I get AI to give me I aim for 30-second videos or less. I aim for that. I want them to be a lot of content, a lot of good music, usually oldies of some sort, workout music, a lot of Journey, a lot of Fleetwood Mac, just really good music. And so what I do is I get it as prepped as I possibly can. And then I shoot it out to my coaches, first come, first serve. They pick the ones that they want. They are the ones who do their own video shorts.
Okay.
So what I tell them, it has to be a minimum of 6 seconds up to 30 seconds. And sometimes I want 5 video shorts for them. And I've taught them to do it very fast. I don't want them to edit it. I prep all of this in Google Drive and I just send them out the Google Drive link. They have to load their video content into a folder for their reel, their day. And that's it.
Okay.
And at night, I sit back in my chair 4 nights a week, 45 minutes, glass of wine, maybe. And I edit that into a reel. and I have an alarm that goes off at 5:30 the next morning, I'm up anyway, and I shoot the reel out.
Okay.
It's not scheduled. And everything is coordinated. So that calendar that you send out, that's my April calendar.
Beautiful.
And so every block of the calendar, it tells which reel goes out. We do carousels. We do connection posts. So I think that's another thing you've probably seen, where I actually once a week put out something literally that's me or Juan.
Yeah.
But mostly me, because again, I'm the avatar.
Right.
So we do ebooks monthly. That's another thing that I create monthly. I'd create an ebook every single month. We have a huge library of ebooks. The basic idea of the ebook, it's coordinated with the email that goes out. And so by the time a client comes to us, and one of the questions, Juan does all of our sales, he's my partner. One of the questions he always asks is, how did you hear about us? What I want people to say, and this is what I want people to say. And if they're not saying it, then we're not doing enough. I want them to say, I don't know, you're everywhere. That is what I want. You're everywhere. And we are. We're Google, we're 2 LinkedIn platforms, we're Instagram, we're Facebook Stories, we're Facebook Reels, Facebook Stories, wherever. We're YouTube.
Yeah. So let me ask you, what do you do with AI, and why are you not afraid of it? Because a lot of your peers, a lot of people I work with who are just like you, in the sense that they are catering to the same audience, but not like you in the sense that they're not fearless about it, is they're afraid of AI, or they don't want, they're still just learning how to use Facebook, and they can't even imagine learning AI yet. You're not afraid of it. You're using it. Tell me about it. What are you doing with AI?
Oh my God. I do a lot with AI. I'm probably on AI at some level every single day. I mean, it's even a good therapist.
Is it?
Well, but here's the coolest thing about AI. I think the first year I was messing with AI, I was a little nervous about it. But again, you start to find out your friends and who's using it and how they're using it and things like that. So I'm also an artist. And so I use it with my art and things that I do. We also do book studies as a team. And I learned I read a chapter of the book and then I ask it. So AI, okay, gosh, I'm going to try to say this short. AI, because I've been using it for a couple of years, and I finally do the paid for version. It's worth every penny, every penny. And then the time that it saves me. But I'll go in and go, hey, I just finished, chapter 8 of John Maxwell's Everybody Communicates, but Few Connect. And I said, I'm meeting with my team this Tuesday, and I need, remember, we're working with small groups, 6 to 8 people. So I give a little brief bullet point details to AI. And I just said, I need the very best question that each person in the group can share an answer in 2 minutes or less. There it is. I rarely have to correct it. I stay transparent with my team. They know I'm reading everything, but I said, hey, AI, spit off this question. I think it's a good one. Let's go for it.
Thanks to Lisa, and again to Micah and Jake. Again, I'll list how you can reach each of them in the show notes. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you. It's not just their willingness to communicate with their folks that's so impressive. It's their determination to serve their communities that really shines through. So I want to thank all of them and all of my PrimeFit content subscribers for doing this important work and for letting me help them help others in their own hometowns. Thank you for listening to the Optimal Aging Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Croft of PrimeFit Content. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll subscribe, review, and tell a friend. All of that helps me grow my audience. I hope you'll share any comments you have with me, including suggestions about people I should interview and topics I should cover. You can learn more about my newsletter and content business at primefitcontent.com, and write me at jay, at primefitcontent.com. And I'm on all the social channels. Again, thanks for listening. Join me next time.